So this is a story about how I view my failure and my screwed upness here at Stanford. It's not a particular instance or an event, like curling my hair when I knew that it was going to rain tonight, and like the 2 bike crashes I've been in, and like the first failing grade I've got ever, all of which I've done. But it's more so just how I felt over the 4 years at Stanford. And I hope you enjoy. It's called Stanford, My Salvation. April 29th, 2013. The screen reads, "Thank you for your confirmation for your intent to enroll." As I sat there with tears in my eyes, I almost said, "No, thank you." But I'm glad I didn't. Because see, at the time, I thought that Stanford would be my salvation. One of which I'd learn how to diagnose the many nights I stayed up in the car crying until 4 a.m. in the morning. As I'd watch words of fire being thrown from every angle of my house. My family. They argued about money and about food and about my little brother who would take him from home to practice and to school, and then who would do it all over again the next day. As I watched from the car window because I couldn't push myself out the door to join the conversation, this is what it's felt like all 4 years at Stanford. As I lay every night to rest, never knowing what a cold night rest feels like, none of us do at this university. This is what Stanford has felt like all 4 years, as I lavish in my $300,000 degree and have 3 jobs that pay more an hour than my family could ever imagine. This guilt, it spun me in circles like a roller coaster. The acceleration began when I realized that my family still struggled to pay the gas bill, the light bill, for gas, and sometimes even for food. So I settled in the pendulum of comfort foods, like hot Cheetos and pickles and frozen pizza, and then I am hoisted back into the air when I realize that I can eat so healthily here. I can eat things like kale? Oh, kale, you mean kale. Yes, right, kale. Yes, I did mispronounce kale for the first time. I was hoisted back into the air when I realized that I could eat so healthily here without a worry. So healthily that it started to feel like my comfort foods became cultural appropriation. This place spun me. It spun me so rapidly that I started to feel like my skin was being stretched into textures and colors that I couldn't identify anymore, like my skin couldn't breathe anymore. I screwed up, and I was wrong. I was wrong in thinking that this place could save me, that a Western education could save me and my family, and my community. I was wrong. I was asked to talk about how I failed in my academics tonight, but I've never been asked about how my academics have failed me. So here I am to say that every chance I got to go home, and every chance I do get to go home, I do because the minute that I arrive, I learn about the many intricate ways that we have learned how to survive and thrive as a community of 5,000 people. Ways like collecting clay from the mountains and then molding it into a pottery and then firing it just enough to make a canteen to hoist water from the bottom of the mesa to the top of the mesa for a whole community to drink. Ways like how my little brother and our little brothers pray for their big sisters and their little sisters and 7 generations to come after them, so ritually and so vigorously that they could probably incorporate each of their prayers in their basketball and cross-country practices. Ways like how my community is building schools for kindergarteners all the way up to seniors in high school that value language and culture just as much as they value assessments in reading and in math. I screwed up, and I was wrong. I screwed up in that it took me a whole 4 years to realize that when my community and when my family told me to go, get an education so that you can come back and share what you learned with our community and with our people. What they really were saying and what they really meant was go. Get an education, get a Stanford degree so that you can come back and protect what has been here long before America, so that you can go and protect our ways of living the way they have been for thousands and thousands of years. So as I stand here, almost a college graduate, almost a Stanford graduate, I can't help but feel thankful. Thankful to have met the many and countless Indigenous scholars and advocates who have taught me how to stand tall and comfortable in my brown skin. And thankful to be able to say that I am Hakome Hanoch. I am from the Acoma people who created worlds of love and resistance and nourishment in ways stronger than I could ever learn at any institution.